following is a special presentation. From the Captain eSports Network.
This isn't just a game. This is iRacing. Who would have thought that around this time, 23 years ago, on 9/11/2001, we'd be getting ready for President George Bush to sit in front of the world and explain what happened to this great country. 23 years later, all the sacrifices of those on that day and everyone we lost, we still think about and we never forget. And of course, along with that, we never forget those who have fought for this country and allowed us the opportunity to sit here and have fun on one of the best simulators in the world, iRacing, as we get ready to go tonight. It is GLSR Racing in the Mr. Radiator Premier Series here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, virtually on iRacing, as we get ready for, well, another awareness that we're putting out there tonight. And throughout the evening, we'll be talking about this, the race to stop suicide. It is something that doesn't get talked about nearly enough, unfortunately. And something that we all can play a role in helping somebody when it's all over with that might be suffering from some kind of depression form or some kind of mental illness, and preventing from leading to a tragedy that can happen. And that's what we're here to do tonight. Race to stop suicide. 180-mile race here this evening at Charlotte. If you look into race information down below, you will notice there's a link there. If you'd like to donate to Race to Stop Suicide, it is there for you. But we're here tonight for the Race to Stop Suicide 180 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, as we got qualifying coming up here in just a few moments. But first, let's take a look at the point standings. We're 2 races in. Diego Sainz absolutely demolishing the field at Darlington, and did something that I have to think about this one, because outside of a road course, I don't know when this has been done last in GLSR. And of course, this is the 14th overall season of racing, I believe it is, in the Great Lakes Sim Racing Series, but led every single lap from 1 to 100 at Darlington 2 weeks ago. He leads the points right now over Robert Lukens, who's second. Of course, Dylan Rosenberg, the Daytona or Talladega winner there in third. Joey Ladasur and Jacob Thornton, your top 5, entering the points after 2 races here this season. And of course, we're not here last week because of the week 13 situation. The series does not race usually on week 13. That's why, even though I said we were racing, I totally had blanked that it was week 13 last week. Here is your schedule, though. Charlotte, then Barber Motorsports Park next week. We'll do some road racing. Nashville Super Speedway, Bristol, and Eldora. The next 5 coming up here for the series, but we really get into our stretch run now, as you will see no weeks off all the way until December 18th at Auto Club Speedway. We had our one-off week last week for week number 13. So, got about 30 cars ready to go here this evening. Appreciate all the viewers who are checking in so far here on the stream, as we will go to qualifying here in just about a minute or so. And, yeah, gonna try to mix in a little bit, of course, today being 9/11. Going to talk a little bit about that, and we'll talk about, of course, the race stop to stop suicide, of course, something that has affected a lot of us in our lives. So you'll hear a mixture of things as we discuss that, but right now I want to have a quick discussion before we get to qualifying here with the driver that last time we were on track went to victory lane. He's got a photo of Dale now on his photo on Discord, which doesn't surprise me one bit. Diego Sainz, well, you've been a winner the last 2 weeks. You led every single lap, and I honestly got to go back and look, see when the last time that happened in this league. Can we do it again tonight at Charlotte?
I'm practicing right now, getting some laps in. And I'm not gonna say anything about the setup because Brewer, everyone's raising concerns about the setup. But I think if I like last time we came here at Charlotte, I led a lot of laps here. Just didn't know how to tire save, which is the story of my life, basically. So I'm gonna hope I learned actually how to tire save within these past couple of weeks, and hopefully I can try to do it again.
Yeah, obviously that's going to be a big moment for you here. But you're getting ready to qualify. You've run 48 laps, fastest in practice. Let's see if you can go get the pole tonight.
I hope so.
Sounds good. Be safe, bud. As Diego Sainz ready to go here in qualifying with the, I'm still debating if that might have been the most sadistic laugh or the most, like, I don't know what I'm doing laugh in the world. I don't know what that's going to be like. But anyways, time to do some hot laps presented by Spicy Schemes. Of course, that is Big Sammy B and his paint schemes that he does for people as we get out here on track for qualifying. The usual rules in play, 2 laps qualifying, your fastest lap will count. Of course, at the bottom, you will see names of drivers pop up on the screen as they get closer to the start-finish line. You'll be able to see how they're running, if they're the fastest, if they're faster, if they need to get faster on their lap when it comes down to it here in just a moment. So as you see, Caleb Fosnot, the first car that the cameras cut to in the 86 in that Wabash Ford, as he's going to bring her to the start-finish line and start lap number 1. Got about 8 cars out here on track right now. Hello to J34 Ever watching here on the stream. Caleb missing that bottom a little bit. That's going to hurt his lap. And you heard Diego kind of mention the setup. This is a custom-made setup. One thing I've never asked about and don't ask is who's the guy that provided this or whatnot, because that's obviously up to the league and that kind of thing. If they share that information in here, I'm not sure if they do or not. But either way, everybody's got the same thing to race with here this evening. It's Fosnot at the pole right now. Telder, 30.88. That's a pretty good lap for the Michigan drivers. Dalton says one up this, 30.73 for him. Lucas Strayer, 30.94. As Fosnot gets a little loose there through turn 2, so his lap is going to be done right there with that. Let's cut up here to Diego Sainz. That's a pretty fast one he's about to lay down here. Let's see what it turns out to be, a 30.71 as he goes to the pole in that 44 car. So Sainz, Strayer, Peach, and Telder, Sainz, Dalton, Peach, and Telder, Strayer. Your top 5 right now. As, Jason lays one down on lap 2, 30.46. Of course, Strayer, 30.47. So the second lap is definitely the fastest. Let's see what Diego can back it up here. A lot of store slots in, and Diego, 30.25. Oh, we're getting faster. That's a pretty big burner right there on that 44 car, as he's looking to pick up that momentum that he left with from Darlington just a couple of weeks ago. Dalton second, Strayer, Peach, and Lotta Sword. Here's the 26 now on track. Of course, Brian Sutphin is Lotta Sword slots in 5th. Tyler Pluff now the 5th. And we'll see where Sutphin slots in as he crosses the start-finish line here. Brian is 8th right now with a 30.71. We'll see if he can back that up. There's the 3 of Dalton Carter's that turns to him here on the screen. But obviously that first lap seems to be the throwaway. And you get down there and get those tires up to temp, and then to the bottom you go and run the best lap you can. This setup, I've been told, is one that you have to drive it off the rear of the car. And some people like that, some people don't. Brandon Marr, who's in that 60 car tonight for GZ Racing. He is 6th right now, 30.64. Jacob Thornton slots in 5th, 30.53 on his lap. Luke Simonson 19th right now. And still got some pretty heavy hitters here to get laps in. Here's Fontaine as he goes 4th, 30.48 on his laps. The Signs 2/10 clear right now of the 2 car. We still got Miles out there to complete a lap. Bryson's on track. Ben Pierce, who's been running pretty solid, he's out there on track right now. As Fontaine looking to complete his second lap right now. Drifts it up the track just a little bit, almost getting the wall. And we'll see what his lap does here this time. Bias Fontaine crosses. And he will go to second, 30-46. Sutphin 14th right now. Bryson 12th. Pierce 10th. I think Sutphin's out there just running laps now. As Pierce will cross the line, he goes P2 30-39. Good lap for the 0-2. As AB brings it through the short chute to the start-finish line. And he goes third, 30-40. And then Stephen Miles, the only car left, and he's going to abort, it looks like. And will start 23rd with a 31.07. And officially, Diego Sainz going to win himself another pole here tonight at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. As we will go trackside now on this anniversary, the 23rd anniversary of 9/11 in the playing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
All right, anthem in the books. See the lights starting to come on. Very overcast here in Charlotte as we get you ready for the Race to Stop Suicide 180 here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The starting lineup looks like this. Diego Sainz on the pole yet again. Clears the field by a 10th. Let's see if he can put on a show like he did at Darlington last week alongside Ben Pierce. Alex Bryson, Sam Fontaine there in row number 2. Jason Dalton, Lucas Strayer, row 3. Sean Peachin and Jacob Thornton in row 4. Tyler Pluff and Dylan Rosenberg, the Talladega winner, in the 10th position. Brandon Marr making an appearance tonight in that GZ number 60 car with Matthew Wheeler. Row 7, Cam Ingram and Brian Sutphin, Jason Clark and Tyler Brewer. Cedric Ingram, Joey Landisor. Devin Ramsey, Matt Teller, a couple 4D guys right there in 19th and 20th. Josh Gagnon, Luke Simonson. Stephen Miles, unfortunate qualifying effort for him, but he should be up in the front pretty shortly alongside Dalton Carter. Row 13, Kayla Fosnot and Richard Midkiff, Blaine Sparling, Christian Antonio, and Robert Lukens, the last of the 29 drivers. It looks like Matthew Wheeler did not grid, but he is officially in the pit sitting there. He'll get this race started from pit road. 120 laps to make up the 180 miles here tonight. This 1.5 mile track, 75 degrees, going to get cooler, 57% humidity, and overcast skies. As you see the cars working their way through turn 3 and 4, coming to the green. After an off week last week and a pretty crazy race at Darlington, what will happen tonight as we come to the green flag? Race number 3 of this Mr. Radiator Premier Series from GLSR about to come to the green flag here in the Queen City. As Sainz leads them Green flag waves. And of course, our cameras presented by TrackCams22.com. You check them out online on Facebook and on the iRacing forums at TrackCams22.com. As Signs clears down to turn 1, or turn 1 and 2, I should say, down the back straightaway. Oh, and he gets loose up the track and almost walls himself. And in second place, Pierce gets loose, and he wrecks. Tyler Pluff, Joey Ladasur, Cam Ingram involved. Oh, and he gets clobbered by... I think that's Miles that just got in that. Shades of the 2001 All-Star race all of a sudden here. Except this time in 3 and 4. And this comes down to, I think, a little bit of time. 60 car destroyed. Let's see what happened here, Ed. I mean, this literally happened up front. I mean, it started 44s. I mean, it almost looks like it's raining over here. Everybody got loose. And Pierce hits the inside wall. Pluff goes for a ride. Dylan Rosenberg gets damaged. There goes the 5 for a ride. I mean, everybody catapulting off the 39. Here comes the 23 back on track. He gets Miles. That's going to give Diego, or I should say Alex Bryson, going to be the leader of this race now. Watch right here, but all right, yeah, you see the back end goes into y'all there a little bit, and then you're going to see Pierce actually veer off the track, and he's going to come back on, and Pierce's race unfortunately done before lap 1. Watch this again. There's Signs getting loose, and there's Pierce getting loose. And oh, he hits the barrels. And all that for is before he even has a chance to stop his car. Let's see what Tyler Pluff's seen here. Nowhere to go. Man, he's on the top of Rosenberg's car. I know someone who had a really good view of this. Let's go on board with the 20 of Jason Clark here. Great job on his part to miss that. Wow. No caution out at lap 3. Going to double him up. Now, fair warning for the viewers watching here this evening. I've thought about this throughout the day, and I was like, man, how can I do... You know, I don't get the stream much on 9/11. You know, I don't remember if I did last year or whatnot, but here I am tonight for GLSR, and I always like to stop and pay tribute to those guys. And here's what we're going to do, and I think I've done this before, but coming up at lap 9, you are going to hear complete silence. Not only for myself, but the cars. I'm going to literally just let the picture ride for a couple laps and turn the sound down. It's a kind of like a tribute they did back the Looney Tunes, back when their creator passed away. If you remember correctly, there's the silent episode, it's called, with Bugs Bunny and those guys. And kind of a deal like that we're going to do coming up here in a few minutes at lap 9. So from lap 9 to lap 100, you'll be able to watch the race, but just be warned, there will be no sound at all. And I'm sure I'll have somebody say, dude, you can't hear anything. Just warning in advance as we go back green. Bryson gets a pretty good jump here on Signs, who's probably going to be a little bit more timid. Up there's both Clark and the 69 Sean Peaching at the outside wall. It's already Pierce behind the wall. Cam Ingram, Brandon Marr, Tyler Pluff all out of this race after the lap 1 incident. As we ride with Clark. 7th position here. He chases down the 2 car of Jason Dalton. 42 of Jacob Thornton behind him. There you see Sean Peach, and as Clark's going to make the pass. Move him up to the 6th position. Good start so far for that 20 car. Clark getting a little loose and starting to bring the pack back here to him. Looking back underneath him as Bryson's lead about a 10th right now over Diego Signs, and it's 6/10 back to Sam Fontaine. Speed's really starting to pick up now as they work their way through the draft here, or work their way through the corners, and the lights coming on, more grip. As we come through turn number 4, we're going to complete lap 8 and start lap 9. And from here, I will quiet the mic down and quiet the race audio down as we pay tribute 23 years ago to the memory of 9/11. As you see the cars come across the start-finish line, it is a day we will never forget. 23 years ago, as I sat as a sophomore in high school down in Florida, hearing about those attacks all the way up to just last week, and a situation that hit close to home for myself as the town of Winder, Georgia, about an hour south of where I was in Gainesville, with the shootings and stuff like that. So to all those that continue to battle for the freedom of this country, from police officers to military to everyone, all those heroes that are out there, we say thank you and we appreciate it, and we think about those that we have lost in tragic events. As caution is out for the second time, the 10 of Matthew Wheeler wrecked over in turn number 2 during our moment there. Let's see what happened to him. He's riding by. Ooh, Midgift getting the wall. Lucan's getting the wall. Bunch of people getting the wall. And unfortunately, Wheeler, a little net code there, and he gets hooked. And that tire, shades of Brian Vickers in the Coke 600 years ago when his 83 car lost the right front tire. It went all the way through a camper. See this again. You definitely see a little bit of netcode right here. And then obviously they do come together eventually, and they might have went ahead and touched anyways, but either way, add another car, Fosnot, with some damage. It looks like an 86 to the damage list. So we did have some cars come to pit road. Dalton Carter, Stephen Miles, Blaine Sparling, and others all on pit road as we wrap up the second caution here momentarily. Of course, tonight, the race to Stop Suicide 180 here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. There's a link down below in the information page. If you'd like to donate to help the race to stop suicide, you can do so there. And while you're down there, you can also check out the merchandise shop that is now available for the Captain eSports Network. Shout out to the drivers and fans who have supported us. I know we had a couple more buyers jump in there last night, and recently Zach Alinen, one of the few I know, obviously from another league, and then obviously of course, the other name is slipping my mind from last night. I'm going to peek over in her Discord and I'll get you that name. But either way, about to go green here as the lights will go off. You see Diego Sainz taking the top side. Joe Wells, that's who it was. I had to remember who it was. So thanks, Joe. Appreciate his support. But you can get yourself a t-shirt. You can get yourself some hats, some beanies, some jackets, a hockey jersey. There's glasses in there for both alcohol or adult beverages, we should say, and coffee. And there's a thermal in there. You can actually take to work, put some water or whatever you like to drink in it. You've got, let's see, what else can you get in there? There's baby clothes, believe it or not. You got toddlers, stuff like that. Clothing for everybody. And it's all available for guys and girls and so much more. And if there's ever an idea you want, send it to me and I might be able to put something together. And very soon you might be seeing some different types of clothing going on with logos and stuff that are not so much Captain eSports Network, but creative ones. So look for that here in the very near future. All right. Lap 14 about to be in the books this time by is Diego Sainz and Alex Bryson, your top two. Lucas Strayer, good run in at 41 so far in third. Sam Fontaine and Jason Clark going to be your top five. Appreciate the viewers hanging out here tonight. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And if you're not new, we appreciate you coming back and hanging out with the captain on a Wednesday night here. As Sainz brings him to the green flag into the restart zone. There he goes. Good launch for the 44. Cleared themselves off turn two, and you see Clark right there almost getting a little loose with Dalton below him. Down the back straightaway into turn three. Bryson going to put the pressure on. Strayer right back there having a great run himself here so far. Very close. Fontaine racing hard as he always does. Sean Peach in there behind him. Strayer finally clears him, almost threw a slider in there. Looks Looks like back there a battle for the 11th and 12th positions here. As you see the 9 of Devin Ramsey, Brian Sutphin in this battle right here, along with Tyler Brewer, Cedric Ingram, a lot of cars right here. Fighting it out 11th, 12th, 13th, all the way back to about 16th position here. Charlotte, one of the favorite tracks of mine to race at. For some reason, me and this track always got along very well. One that definitely, if you can be patient with the throttle, you can definitely save some right front tire, and it'll help you in the long run. These tires do wear out pretty quickly here in these cars. Big mover in this race already. Matt Telder up 11 spots from 20th to 9th in that number 1 car. He's already passed Cedric Ingram for the 9th position, as he's starting to put pressure on Thornton back there in the 42 himself. Telder, one of the few drivers still working to get that first win in this series. Of course, he's had his ups and downs in the series, from racing to get a playoff spot to not racing at all to back and hashtag central as Tyler Pluff checks in. Yeah, that was a big bummer there, buddy. Especially coming off a week off, and then you come on track and you're out on lap 1. It's obviously a sucky deal there, so sorry, buddy. Go up here to the 5th position as Fontaine and Clark battle down here. A couple Canadian drivers here. As Fontaine clears, Clark crosses over. Got to be very careful here at this track. This is one of those tracks where notoriously the bottom groove will actually lose grip and you slide up the track a little bit. And you got to be careful of that, because when there's a car on your outside, you wipe them out in the end. And you never want to do that. You got to be very easy on the car. Right there, you see Clark kind of pushes up a little bit, but that's more, I think, to slide and clear the 77 for position. So move Clark up to the 5th spot, having a great run right now, as these guys continue to fight it out back here, 14th, 15th, 16th positions. At 45 of Christian Antonio. Seems like Sutphin and Devin have been side by side for the whole entire race here so far. Sutphin finally get it clear, but then you go up here, Josh Canyon, the 79 car, following through with Cedric Ingram in the 19. He's there in front of Jacob Thornton. This is all right at the end of the top 10. You see Telder's past Gagnon and Thornton and those guys up to the 8th spot. As Thornton just knocked the wall down there off turn 2. Everybody's starting to kind of single file out a little bit here, as it's Signs leading by about 4/10 over Bryson Strayer, about a second or so back in 3rd, and then Sean Peachin and Jason Clark. And those guys, Brandon, yeah, tough run there, buddy. That obviously I don't know you that well, but I know that 60 car is a special deal for Gagnon, as he is a big fan of what BKR is doing in real life, and he wanted to do his own little version of it. I don't think anybody's had good luck in a 60 car yet, to be honest with you. So 25 laps complete here in the Mr. Radiator Premier Series. And race number 3 of the season. Of course, this season, the big change was two of them. As a matter of fact, one being the win and get in is now eliminated. So it's now the top 10 in points with a couple wild card spots potentially available. And then, of course, the halfway break for the 4th time in league history has changed again. After league members voted to get rid of it. Not that it would matter tonight because, well, we've already had a caution and we're going to have another one. Is big time into the Walls Canyon. He and Jacob Thornton. I mean, that was a violent lick for the 79. And third caution, and once again, I think we had a little netcode making an appearance again. That's oof. Something goes right through the 79. Let's go crash cam on this one to get a better view at this. Of course, the biggest question when you have a situation like this, and I want to make sure before I say this is netcode that it was netcode. Almost touched right there. A little bit of room. A little bit of room. Oh yeah, right there you see the netcode. And usually the rule you want to ask yourself is when you see netcode, does it look like the two cars were going to touch? Anyways. Let's take a look here. I don't think so in this deal. It would have been close coming off. You see Gagnon's holding the line. Thornton's holding the line. Pretty solid there. They're close to each other here. But when they impact with each other, right about there is where the net code happens. Thornton's coming down a little bit. I don't know. I think they would have stayed off each other here. So that's definitely a bummer deal for that's just a tough to call. A tough call to make there. Leaders on pit road here. As race on pit road. Diego Sainz getting it. Bryson, Strayer, Clark, and Peach in your top 5 off pit road as Christian Antonio has decided to stay out here. And get his first laps led in the series. All right, so you guys have heard me talk a little bit about 4D Racewear. Of course, they're somebody I love to talk about each and every night when we're on the air, and the great products they have. Of course, you see Devin Ramsey in the 9 car. He's got the 4D Racewear stuff. Also, Matt Telder. Let's want to see if I can squeeze them both in here and do 2 different interviews at one time and let them kind of describe what I do. I've always talked about what 4D Racewear gives you the opportunity to do with gloves and shoes and stuff like that. So let's bring the troublemaker up here as Telder joins us. Yeah, hello.
What's up, buddy?
Yeah, what were you saying?
Oh, we were calling Peach an ass.
Oh, there you go. All right, fair enough. So
we're talking about friends. Your truest friends are the ones that are brutally honest with you the most.
That's what they say. That's what they say. But, well, that's why I figured I would bring you up here because I wanted to talk 4D Racewear because I always do every night. But I figured I would let somebody who's got their stuff on right now talk about it.
Oh, what do you want to know about it? What's your questions?
I promote the company. This is where you talk about the gloves you have, the shoes you have.
I didn't know if you had any inquiring questions.
I don't. I mean, I know what they do. I have shoes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no. Yeah. They have everything: hats, gloves, shoes. Pretty much, you can have short style gloves, like more like a motocross style glove. You have your elbow length ones, like similar to like K1 fireproof gloves. They're very breathable on the backside. It's all breathable material. the latest version of the shoes. They have a lot more thicker insoles on them. It's a lot of these pedals are real sharp, can hurt your feet if you don't race with shoes on. So honestly, like I tried to race the other night without my shoes on, just because, and I couldn't do it. Could not do it at all.
How many
so
drinks were involved in that decision?
none actually. I was just like, oh, I'm like I already sat in my rig, and like I have my simulator set up to where it's like as close to like a real like mini sock as I can. It's like I'm tight in here. Like my wheels like right in my chest and everything else. It's like it's a process to get in and out of here. And I sat down and I looked across the room and they were sitting on the floor over there, and I go, well, we've come this far. We're not going back. So
Nice. Well, we appreciate your efforts there, and obviously you've got the shoes and the gloves on, and well, one of these days will lead you to a victory.
no, one of these days, I hope. Hey, I win stuff in other leagues. I just don't win stuff here.
Well, track's less than a mile, we'll call it.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right,
That's
bud.
fair.
Good job.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. Have a good one.
Yes, sir. That is Telder, who've hopefully sold you enough there on those. So, big shout out to Jim Herrick and what he does for 40 Racewear. And if I get a chance, I'll talk to Devin maybe next week or 2 weeks from now and let him talk about his experiences. But yeah, Telder's got all the shoes and the gloves and stuff. I know he and then Luke Daniels and others, and then myself, I have shoes. And all thanks to Jim Herrick for his hard work there. All right, coming back to the green at lap 32. This could be an interesting situation here as the 45 has not come to pit road yet. Diego Sainz second, Alex Bryson third, Lucas Strayer, Jason Clark, your top five. As you look over the Roval, where they will be here in just a few weeks racing, as there's the green. As Antonio leads them down into turn one. And this could be interesting because with the newer tires, these guys are going to be a little loose, except for, well, Mr. Antonio, because his tires are still warm. But he's still going to get swallowed up as Strayer goes by for second. Here comes Peachin, maybe for third. I was joking with Sean before the race tonight. I said, you know when you know you're old? And he's like, what's that? It's like when you're got a life insurance company on your car as a sponsor. As he goes by for position, there goes Fontaine. Alex Bryson is outside. Well, Mr. Gagnon, all you do is go to 40racewear.com, sir. Links down there in the info, by the way, if you need to. I'm sure Mr. Herrick will take care of your 14-size foot. So everybody's single file all the way back to Stephen Miles, who got that car fixed back up, and the 24 back up now into the top 11 after starting towards the back and then, of course, getting involved in that big wreck on lap 1. And Clark now starting to fall back a little bit. Cedric Ingram. Cedric, of course, getting that win at Daytona just a couple seasons ago. At least it feels like it was a couple seasons ago. I think it was last season, as a matter of fact. Looking to put that 19 car into victory lane again as he takes the 8th position away. As the 45 unfortunately sails backwards. How about this guy running 9th here? Tyler Brewer having a fantastic run in the 40, which makes me wonder who's really driving that car. I'm kidding. But Tyler having a great run, 9th position right now. Miles there behind him. Rosenberg in 11th as he goes past Antonio. So obviously the no tire trick not going to work really at the moment here, but that could be an extra set of tires that the 45 has this car later on in this race that could pay off if the cautions fall right. It's definitely worth taking a chance in this situation, so I commend him for trying something different. As I've always said, if you It's a quote done by Larry McReynolds, but it's so true. If you follow the leader, you're going to follow the leader. If you're not as fast as him. As this is a pretty good battle for second now, as Lucas Strayer trying to hold off Sean Peach, and Sam Fontaine there behind him along with Alex Bryson. Oh, as Lucas gets the wall. Boy, that track kind of falls off right there. Coming out of turn 2, that wall can be very inviting. As Strayer's going to fall all the way back here and try to regroup. As back here for 8th, Brewer making a pass on Ingram. Oh, look now, but Tyler Brewer might have some business to take care of here tonight at Charlotte. 8th position for the 40 car. As we hit the 1/3 distance, went green there at about lap 32. And you can go about 55 laps on a tank of fuel at this track. So that takes you up to roughly lap 87 or so. So at least one more stop to get them to the finish. The question going to be, though, tire wear and how people take care of that here throughout this race. Another car falling back here a little bit early in this run. Jason Clark, not sure what's going on with the 20. But Blaine Sparling has gone by, Robert Lukens has gone by, and Clark all the way back here in 17th now. I have to look at the 20. I see some damage. Right rear looks okay. Right front, everything there looks okay. Maybe he's in a little bit of a tire save mode here. As up here for second. Actually, for third, I should say. Bryson losing a spot to Fontaine, or at least battling for it. These guys been all kind of stuck together all night so far here. So next week, I do invite you to next Wednesday night, something from the, I would never expect to see this on a track. But we invite you to watch the Mr. Radiator Premier Series from Barber Motorsports Park. And you're going to see these, 3,400-pound Xfinity cars race a track that was originally built for motorcycles in Barber Motorsports Park. So a track that some call the masters of race facilities because of the way that the grass and everything's laid out. Of course, there's designs of like insects and animals and stuff out in the grass. It's pretty cool. I am more anxious to see what these guys do in the museum section, which if you've not watched a race in Barber, it's hilly, it's windy, it's technical, but there's a section where you go through a hairpin at turn 5, you go down a straightaway, and then there's an immediate, it's a right, left, right, like a chicane or an S, if you will, but you almost don't turn the wheel. You have to go straight through it, and then you hook a right around about a 45 to 90 degree corner downhill. Again, good for bikes. 3,400 pound car. We'll see next week. Robert Lukin started tail end on the field. Up to the 15th position here. The guy who's running second in points, the Harry Gant paint scheme. Funny, he always rocks on that 33 car as he takes the spot away right behind Blaine Sparling right now, who runs in 14th. As these guys here just don't want to leave each other alone. They continue to fight it out. Bryson looks like going to kind of yield to him, and not only that, but Strayer there behind him. Bryson going to fall back to the 6th position right now. There's Dalton on his teammate here. KJU 2 cars right here. So Diego continues to have an 0.8 of a second lead. Looks like it's stretching out just a little bit. Peach in second, Dalton third, Fontaine and Strayer your top 5. Looking over at the lap times right now, everybody's lost about a second or so already on these tires. So the fall off is happening. And now you're starting to see cars kind of move up a little bit here to this middle groove. Some to the top groove here. As here comes Miles. Almost put him in the middle, 3 wide here. And now Brian Sutphin into play. And this is where I talk about those who save their tires a little bit and how they're able to come roaring up through the field. Cedric unfortunately falling back, and there's Rosenberg that is outside. I was joking around with Dylan before the race. You realize the last 3 weeks he's ran this Motorcraft paint scheme. Of course, he won that race at Talladega, and it was the same week of the Daytona race, which was won by the Motorcraft car of Harrison Burton, of course, for the Wood Brothers, getting that 100th win. So kind of irony there. Ooh. Brewer, I think, might have got spooked a little bit by the 26 and went to the wall. So 8 laps short of the halfway point. Of course, tonight's race, as we mentioned, the Race to Stop Suicide 180. If you are interested in trying to help the Race to Stop Suicide, make sure you click on the link down below in the race information area, and you'll see where you can donate to the Race to Stop Suicide organization. Always remember, somebody might tell you they're okay, but the $1 million question, are they really okay? You just never know. And being one that was diagnosed himself with OCD, which is a mental illness. It's always important to check on your friends and stuff and always be in knowledge of what's going on. If you see any signs, make the proper calls or whatever of a friend, or even if you yourself have some thoughts come to your mind that are potentially suicidal or so, you can call that 988 number that you see there in the logo and get the help that you need, because one thing I can tell you from random intrusive thoughts that come to my mind sometimes, not all the thoughts that come to your head are how you really feel. And always remember, the most important part of this whole thing is you're not alone. There's always somebody that is there to talk to you. So Signs leads, 55 laps complete. Sean Peach in second, Jason Dalton third, Sam Fontaine fourth. And Strayer, your top 5 here. Bryson's fallen back to 6th, Telder up to 7th, Stephen Miles up to 8th, as these guys are going to battle as Luke Simonson comes off pit road. Dylan Rosenberg and Brian Sutphin now your top 10. As we've been green for about 30 laps straight now. As Dalton has actually caught the 69 car, and here we go for second. As Miles has passed Helder back there for 7th. You know, if I may share a quick story here real quickly, going back to what we were just talking about. I actually read an audiobook. I don't know how you read an audiobook, but I read an audiobook as I was delivering packages last week. As Caleb Fostock's gone off track over here on the back straightaway. Not sure if there's a motor problem here or what the deal is, but he is off the pace as the leaders come down the back straightaway. But the book I was reading was about Howie Mandel. Of course, Howie being a victim of OCD. And in his story, he talks about, how he has a lot of sore gets a little loose there. He had to get out of the way of 3 wide there. Car obviously not looking too much in control, so obviously some damage on it. But he talked about how he was on the Howard Stern show when he kind of put it out there in person that he was, OCD. And during that conversation, he leaves the building, and a fan approaches him as he walks out of the building and says, "Hey, you're Howie Mandel, and you apparently are OCD and a germaphobe apparently and stuff," as he's, always keeping his hands clean and stuff. And Howie's like, "Yeah," and he kind of was like embarrassed when he heard the viewer say it to him, and the viewer's like, "Me too." Out of the whole entire New York City, and you have one guy out of like a million people that walk the streets every hour down in that city, just walks up to you and says, "Hey, me too. You're never alone. Just always remember that." It's a pretty good battle. 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th right here. Between Peach and Strayer, Miles and Bryson. As we come up to the halfway point this time by. And one thing I should mention is there is a little halfway bonus, I believe, still on the line. I don't think that has changed this season. I've never thought to ask. But I know last season there was a 1-point bonus to those who lead the halfway lap. So if that's the case, then here comes the guy that has absolutely dominated the last 2 weeks. He's got a 2.5-second lead right now on Dalton and leads the halfway lap as Diego Sainz. And 2.5 back to Dalton. Sam Fontaine is 3rd. Stephen Miles is roaring through the field. Got those tires up the temp and has saved them, and now is pretty much passing everybody at will as he rides in the 4th position. Now Lucas Strayer back there behind him in 5th. Peachin's fallen to 6th. Bryson, Telder, and Rosenberg, your top 9. As Miles running a 32.04 as he passed a car that lap. So behind the wall here so far in this race, as I peek down there, Josh Gagnon, Matthew Wheeler, Richard Midkiff, Tyler Pluff, Brandon Marr, Cam Ingram, Brent and Ben Pierce. All those behind the wall so far in this race. And you see Lucas Simonson going past the 24, and that's because he pitted at lap 52 just a few minutes ago. So he's got a little bit fresher tires than everybody here right now. See these guys 6th, 7th, and 8th. Everybody pretty much within a 10th of each other in this little pack here. And there's a gap of about 2 seconds, and it's another 2/10 between Sutphin and Ingram. And then back from there, everybody's pretty much a second or 2 separation amongst everybody right now. So the best battles are right up here in the top 10. As again, we could see pit stops pretty much any time from this point forward. And cars will make it the rest of the way to the checkered flag as Miles going past Jason Dalton, move him up to 3rd. Laser Racing having a good run right now with Miles up 20 positions from the start. It looked like it was going to be a rough one after that lap 1 wreck, and Miles having a lot of sword kind of ricochet in front of him and getting some damage, but it looks like he's got it fixed up, and he is roaring up here through the field right now. And he is catfishing it right down on that bottom line. Bob Rawson, whatever you want to call it. Sign still up there by 2.8 seconds. Hey, want to get you a shout out to MC Racing. Of course, a good buddy Mark over in the downtown Fort Wayne area was actually talking to a driver from last night's race who lives right down the road from this particular place. And we were talking about it, and I give his dad a little trip over there so that they can enjoy some sim racing, and you can too if you're coming through the Fort Wayne area or just happen to live nearby and want to come on over and check out some cool sim racing in downtown Fort Wayne. MC Racing is the place to go. So big shout out to Mark, who has likely got us on the screens there in the back of the building. A little waiting room there for those who like to drift. You got a little drift track there. You can take an RC car and do some drifting in and so much more. So great restaurants right down the road. You can enjoy some food and plenty of things to do in downtown Fort Wayne. So pretty cool deal there. Big shout out to Mark. The Hoppy Gnome is one particular restaurant to check out there. Right like 3 doors down from him. As battle for second, Sam Fontaine and Stephen Miles. Fontaine likely, and you could probably easily argue this, the toughest to pass in all of GLSR. Against Stephen Miles, who might be one of the best long-run cars in GLSR. Oh, Jason Clark with issues. And he is towed back to pit road. No caution. We stay green. Oh, Clark, unfortunately, the outside wall over here on the front straightaway. What started as a good run for the 20 car has gone awry. And he pulls her off the track, and unfortunately, behind the wall, as we had 50 laps to go, Signs has led pretty much the whole entire race. He won't lead every lap tonight, but he's pretty much led every green flag lap here in this race as this battle for second continues. Not able to complete the passes, Miles, and you got Telder back here trying to get around Strayer as he brings Bryson with him. See the different grooves about this track that makes Charlotte so much fun. Everybody's got their own preference of groove. Some will run the top in 1 and 2 and then go to the bottom in 3 and 4. Some will run either the top all the way around. Some will run the bottom all the way around. Just it's literally a preference deal. Both of them pretty much riding the top. Telder moves down about a half a groove, and then the lap car a lot of sore behind them. And as you see, just a couple of cars up front of there is the Miles and Fontaine battle. And so if these cars run the rest of this run out, they will likely be on pit road in the next 10 laps. Don't be surprised you see somebody maybe trying to short pit. But with tire fall off being nearly 2.5 seconds now in this run, I think the longer you go, the better off you're going to be. As long as you don't get a yellow that kind of hangs you out, as Brian Sutton's going to be the first one to pit road in the 26 car. Once again, 77 and 24 going at it. Miles in that Laser Racing Dales Pools and Spa car. Shout out to Brandon Alphin, by the way, if he's watching. Of course, Brandon's been under the weather a little bit with a recent procedure. Hopefully he's doing better and get him back out here shortly. I think he ran Darlington, did he not, if I remember correctly? As I said, Fontaine will not let somebody go. You have to battle. And that's exactly what Miles is left to do here. I mean, it almost makes you wonder if you're Miles, and I know he's not going to do this, but almost makes you wonder if he should go to pit road and do an undercut here. But Miles is one of those, he lets the race run itself out. So Sutphin, the only one who's come to pit road during this run. And Sean Peachin's going to come to pit road. So here comes the first of those that were up towards the front. I guess second, because Sutphin was up there too. As the 69 car will come to pit road here. So 40 laps to go. Next time by is the Diego Sainz show. Apparently is going to continue on into Barber Motorsports Park next week, as he has been on a rail. You see over here on the screen, he's the 44 car. He's through 3 and 4. And then you got these guys over here entering turn 3 and 4 now. You got the 77 of Fontaine at the line now. So it's literally 2.5 seconds as Lucas Strayer is mowing the grass a little bit here on the front stretch. Did somebody yell Freebird on a microphone or something? Big shout out again to the viewers hanging out here watching tonight. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast. And again, share it out to your friends and family. If you know anybody that loves watching sim racing, hopefully you pick out the Captain eSports Network out of the many fantastic streamers out there in the streaming world to be the home of your streaming that you like to watch. Of course, we got some great merchandise down below in the race information page. You can check out the race shop for shirts for not only guys, but for girls and for toddlers and babies and so much more. Stephen Miles comes to pit road. Wow, he pits a little earlier, lap 82. But other types of items, magnets and cups of coffee and adult beverage glasses and so much more. Just check out the race shop down there, and we appreciate it by at least looking. As 4 tires and fuel, 14.8 for Miles. Good stop. As here comes Fontaine, he who was being battled by Miles. Gonna bring Dalton with him. So here we go with the pit stops, lap 84. Four tires and fuel for these guys. And here, the leader, you see him in the background. That is Sainz coming to pit road, lap 84, 85. And that's going to hand the lead to Matt Helder. And Ramsey also going to come to pit road. So is Blaine Sparling. As there are signs on pit road, gets right there behind the pace car and overshoots his pit stall a little bit. That's going to slow him down a little bit. That could bring Miles and Fontaine into this battle for the lead potentially. As there goes Fontaine by right now. As Diego leaves pit road, and here comes Bryson Rosenberg and Cedric Ingram to pit road. And that hand's, still Teller in the lead as he comes off turn 4 right now. And that leaves, from my count, the front 3 cars, along with Christian Antonio and Luke Simonson. It looks like the only ones left to pit here. There's your leader here. Teller's going to bring her all the way down from the top side to the bottom, like an all-star race pit stop here. 45 miles an hour. Teller having a great run. This is one of those races that, he and I talked during the offseason, and one thing I've always been critical of him, and he knows it, is I've always told him you got to work on the racecraft because, yeah, you know how to race on a short track, but you got to learn how to finish these longer races and stuff and try to stay out of trouble. And he's been ragging to me. He's like, I got it, I think. I got it. And here tonight, he's ran up there in the top 10 most of the night after a rough start. And here he is, potential top 5 finish for the 1 car tonight. So we'll see. As Strayer comes to pit road. I mean, I've told him 100 times, if he gets out there and runs every lap and keeps it clean, he shows his talent. But there's times he gets himself into a bad spot. And Strayer comes to pit road. Lucan's going to lead this race now. I think Robert's going to come to pit road here. The Universal, he's going to IndyCar this thing to pit road. And look how this cycles everybody around. Look who the leader of this race is now. The 24 of Stephen Miles going to inherit the lead. Sam Fontaine is going to be second. Brian Sutphin going to be third. And then 4.5 seconds back from the 24 is Diego Sainz after the overshooting of pit road. Or at least his stall. Plus the newer tires by a lap or 2 by Miles. Diego has got some work to do. Jason Dalton, your 5th place car as of right now. Back here, as you see Teller going past Cedric Ingram for the 10th position. See Lucas Strayer all the way back here to 13th now, so that will slip through the pit, or through his through the grass, I should say, in front of pit road, and then hitting at lap 88. He's lost a little bit of track position here, but I think these guys that pitted in the later part of this run, I think here in the next 10 laps or so, 10-15 laps, you'll really start seeing their speed pick up. And they'll go by these other cars that short pitted and see what kind of track position they get out of it when it's all over with. Like, you don't want to go burning up your tires at the same time here. As here's Diego looking to the inside of the 26 of Sutphin for third. half-second separation from Miles to Fontaine. So now Steven has gone around the 77 with that one-lap advantage on pit stops here. Fontaine having a hard time catching him. But the fastest car on track by about 2 or 3 tenths right now is Diego Sainz in the 44. The question going to be, is he going to burn up his tires, though, trying to get to the leaders? As here's Dalton to the inside of Sutphin for 4th. As here's Bryson now under attack with Sean Peachin. A reminder, coming up tomorrow night, we'll have some more league racing for you from Nashville Super Speedway. We'll have it for you around 8:30 Eastern Time. And that'll be the final race of the week for the captain. And we'll come back next Monday to do it again. There's Strayer back here to the outside of Devin Ramsey. And Tyler Brewer back there, 13th position. And it looked like he might have put a wheel off a second ago, according to my highlights here. So, fortunate deal there for Tyler, but hopefully Brewer, who pitted at lap 75, so he's got older tires here, probably going to struggle a little bit here at the end of this race. Unfortunate there for a good run, though, but we can't let that slip past Tyler, as he's done a great job tonight. As up here at the front, Fontaine has not let Miles go. And Diego Sainz has knocked off about 1.5 seconds since the pit stop, so he is slowly reeling these guys in. Question is he able to do it without burning up the tires? You know, tonight is always a big race for the GLSR guys, as Charlotte Motor Speedway always put on a great show, and that's what we're seeing again tonight. And to mention, with the Race to Stop Suicide sponsoring the series here tonight, or at least the race, I should say. You know, definitely love to see the sport, and one thing GLSR always does is trying to put the sport out there for non-for-profits and that kind of thing. Of course, they always have a little race every season that usually you put your local non-for-profit or somebody out there on your car. You usually see that once a season or once every other season here. And tonight, of course, that continuing tradition of representing these great organizations that are trying to help people out. And it's something that Travis and Sam and those guys did back at the beginning of GLSR, and Sean and Tyler and all the guys running the series now have continued that tradition. So 20 laps to go. Miles leads by 0.2. Diego Sainz is about 2 seconds back, or about 2.8 or so back. Dalton 4th, Bryson. Let's go back here because Ramsey and Ingram putting on a show here for the 11th position. Lap car, Jacob Thornton there behind him in the 20th spot right now. trying to get to the 19, not able to do so, but one person that is getting closer and closer. As I look up here, Fontaine has caught Miles. Now you wonder if Fontaine is faster with that one-lap pressure tires, or is Miles playing a little possum here and allowing Fontaine to catch him, but then might put the foot back down. Top three all running same lap times now, so Diego's got some work to do if he wants to get back up here to make it 2 in a row. And he said the long run would be his downfall, and here we are now. Almost 80 laps into this run. And in trouble is he. As Teller gets past Rosenberg, going to try to catch Brian Sutphin, who's been falling back a little bit. But again, next week for these guys, it is Barber Motorsports Park. A road race, 60 minutes long. A hilly, technical road course, again, that was built for motorcycles. We've seen IndyCar run there for the last, what, decade and a half, 2 decades. And usually puts on a pretty good show. Just to the east of Talladega. We'll have it for you at 8:15 Eastern Time. So Fontaine's been able to get within 0.2 of Miles, but hasn't really gotten any closer. For Charlotte, the scene of one of the... Anytime you see Fontaine win a race, it's not an upset. But in this situation, I call it an upset. One of the biggest in this series history was an afternoon race at the Roval. Aaron Smith, who is a fantastic driver overall, ran this series before, and I see him all the time on iRacing in different spots, and was out there dominating the Roval race. And at that time, there was the halfway caution that GLSR ran, or the random caution, I guess, at that moment, because it was a road race. And it was already been told what lap it was going to happen on. Fontaine comes to pit road right before the caution, takes tires and fuel. Aaron waits till after the break. He comes to pit road, and Aaron went through the field. I mean, he went from like 20th to 2nd under the green flag and got to Fontaine's bumper, and for about 5 to 10 laps straight was all over Sam, and Sam didn't flinch one bit, and Fontaine went to victory lane in that race. And that was one I didn't expect that day. You wonder if Fontaine can get up here and battle with Miles for it. Strayer trying to work his way back up through the field, pitted at lap 88. One of the faster cars on the track right now as he's trying to get around Rosenberg. Rosenberg is up to aero block him. They come up on the back of Dalton Carter, who runs in the 16th position. Unfortunately, a lap down. Back up front, here comes Sam. Across the line, 8 laps to go. Joey Landis come to pit road. as he was trying to get a caution to get himself potentially closer to the lead lap. Unfortunately, he is 4 laps down now in the 19th position. And Miles doing a great job holding the pretty wheel right there. 77 getting a pretty good run. So he tries to work that draft up to him. And let's go back here, because Strayer has gotten to the back of Rosenberg and got to his outside here. Oh, into the wall he goes. That's going to allow Rosenberg to keep the momentum down the straightaway. Of course, you got to roll out of it early here in turn 3 and 4. It's a lot tighter of a radius than 1 and 2 is. But Rosenberg's going to clear him here for a minute. So, a little contact by the 41 kind of hurt him here as Dalton and Bryson for a second were battling. Bryson backing up the corner, going to try to get the run here on the bottom side, off the corner. As there he goes to the inside, trying to make the move. Bryson giving him plenty of room. Good, clean racing here amongst the two. As once again, you get a KJD2 car versus a laser car, just like you have up there for the lead right now. Bryson almost clear. He's to the quarter panel. Dalton just got the wall. That's going to hurt him. And Bryson up to the 4th position. Meanwhile, Miles still holding off Fontaine, the last 2 champions of the series. Oh, no way. The cone has bitten somebody again, apparently. That being Jason Clark tonight. Miles able to hold off Fontaine still by 0.2 of a second. As they're going to come to the white flag this time by as they cross it. Final lap here from Charlotte. 1.5 miles to go. Both these drivers looking to go to victory lane for the first time this season. Either way, it'll be our 3rd winner in 3 races this season. As coming through 3 and 4 for the final time, Miles going to be able to hold him off in the race to stop suicide. 180, Stephen Miles gets a Charlotte win. And holding off Fontaine by 0.2 of a second. And Diego Sainz, oh, he is not going to be happy. Had the dominant car until those pit stops there. Finishing 3rd, Alex Bryson, Jason Dalton, your top 5. Telder 6th. Rosenberg, Strayer, Ingram, Ramsey, your top 10. And let's see how Miles does in the field turf here. This isn't grass. picks up another win here in the series. Congratulations to him, and of course everybody, for a great race this evening. A couple cautions early, otherwise it cleared up and became a pretty good race when it was all said and done, as Stephen Miles picks up his 10th win as he and Fontaine continue neck and neck in the overall win totals here for the Premier Series. As we'll take a look at the finishing order in tonight's race. As Miles wins it by 0.2 over Fontaine, Sainz third. Alex Bryson, Forchase, and Dalton, your top 5. Helder comes back to finish 6th. Dylan Rosenberg 7th. Lucas Strayer 8th. And Cedric Ingram, Devin Ramsey, your top 10. Sean Peachin falls to 11th. Brian Sutphin 12th. Wayne Sparling 13th. Tyler Brewer 14th. And Robert Lukens with a top 15 finish. 16th to Dalton Carter. Christian Antonio 17th. Luke Simonson 18th. Joey Ladesor and Jacob Thornton, your top 20. Caleb Fosnot 21st. Jason Clark 22nd. Gagnon, Wheeler, Midkiff, Marr, Clough, Ingram, Cam, that is, and Ben Pierce all having issues here tonight. A lot of them in that lap 1 wreck over in turn 3 and 4. All right, let's talk to the top tree finishers here tonight. Starting with the guy that, I'm going to be honest with you, early in the race I thought was going to be the guy I'm talking to in victory lane, but unfortunately a couple things bit you there here tonight. One being sliding through your pit stall just a little bit. And the question I do want to ask is, are we going to be looking at the fact that we waited a little too long to come to pit road?
I'm just here so I won't get fined.
Attaboy.
It said me and Cedric had a plan to pit lap 85, so we were gonna stick to that. But when I heard, I didn't hear it, but I saw Miles kind of disappear on the relative, and I didn't think that I was in a bad spot, but I probably should have pit a little bit earlier. I'm not disappointed about it. This is the same thing that happened to me at Texas during the playoffs. I had the fastest car on the track, but strategy, it's whatever.
Well, obviously, you still got that win last week, and obviously a first and a third here outside of Talladega. So a great start for you in the 44 car this season.
I'm excited about this start. I mean, I wish Cameron could have the same amount of luck I'm having right now, but of course, this race was for him. May God rest his soul. He died lap 1. But no, I'm really excited for this season, especially next week at Barber. I'm so excited for that. I'm gonna try and do my best to knock on wood, finish top 10 every race. We'll see.
Well, hopefully you'll be able to do that. I was gonna say, what are your expectations of Barber? Because that could be a wild one.
It could. It's definitely gonna be tight. I don't think there's many passing zones. I found a couple, however. I'm not gonna say where, but there's a couple passing zones. It's gonna be tight. I don't know. I don't even know how to explain how to go around it. I know you have to be careful, but at the same time, be fast. It's a fun track, but it's very challenging.
Well, great job tonight, and send some shout outs to whoever you like to.
Shout out, may God rest his soul, the 5 car today. He was taken so soon. The 19 to Cedric got a top 10. So Gunslingers top 10, the ones who are alive. Shout out Miles. He had a good run. I saw the battle between him and Fontaine. Shout out the league officials. And I'm going to be watching this broadcast when I eat my cereal.
Nothing wrong with that. Great job tonight, bud.
Yeah!
The most disappointed third place finish of a happy guy I've ever seen, as Diego Sainz finishes in third here this evening. Sam Fontaine gets himself a second place finish here behind the winner of Stephen Miles. Sam, obviously a tough second place run there. It looked like you might have a little bit of an advantage with the 1 lap fresher tires, but looked like the track position in the end got you.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. Was a good race. Got a good result overall. I was just going for the points, and turns out that at the end of that last run, I was the top 3, so tried to go for the win. Definitely felt faster, but I mean, it is what it is. I don't think the tires matter that much past like 5 laps. We only had like 1 lap gap, but Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Like, it was a great race. He did good, and the dirty air was a little too harsh to make it happen. Every time I was trying to run, like, right behind him, trying to get the run, I was stuck on the bottom in turn 2, or the top couldn't give me enough to get a run. So it is what it is, but it was a fun run overall.
Well, obviously, a great battle there with Miles. Is there anything you could have done different?
Not really. I mean, I did pretty much everything perfect. I mean, he bubbled up one time when I did too, and that's pretty much it. So, I mean, we both run good, and I mean, the track position got the better of us. I don't think like pitting before or after would have necessarily changed the fate of the race.
Well, great job tonight. Send some shout-outs to Relay too.
Yeah, every guy in the league who made it happen. The admin, Sean, Tyler, the sponsor for the race, and obviously the sponsor for the series, Mr. Radiator. Always there this season with us, and it's always great to have him. And obviously you for a great show that you gave us every weekend. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
There you go, man. Well, hey, great job tonight.
Thanks, man.
Absolutely. Sam Fontaine, the second place finisher here tonight at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And obviously another great run for him. And he's officially tied once again in the career wins list of the premier side of things with this man, Stephen Miles, who goes to victory lane here tonight. It did not look good at the start as he had a lot of sewer kind of sliding in front of him on lap 1, able to get the damage fixed and climb all the way from 23rd to victory lane here tonight.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to win like this ever again, coming through the field like that, man. These guys don't make it easy for you at all.
Well, obviously, you went, the long run obviously helped you out a ton. You've obviously been really good on the long run. You kind of hung back a little bit, and all of a sudden we blinked and you were up in the top 10, and then we blinked again, you were in the top 5, and you made that decision to come down pit road. I think it was at lap 83 or 82. He came in at 83, and being able to hold him off with one lap fresher tires was a pretty big deal.
Yeah, I knew how pit and go. You know, the leaders are really watching each other, and I know how the advantage and disadvantage goes with that. And man, those last 5-10 laps, Fontaine was racing me, and I couldn't get past him, and that dirty air was so bad, so I had to find a counter. So that was the move I was willing to take. I was really trying to, if I could have got past Fontaine, I was gonna see if I could catch Diego and then try to stretch it out a little bit longer. But once he raced me like that, I ain't have no choice. I had to do what I had to do to try to get the win tonight. And how it started, I'm very surprised with 2 minutes of damage that I got off. Man, I'm very surprised I was able to drive us through the field. It was real hard throughout the whole field anyway, because everybody was running the same lap times. Everybody was fast. The high line was the line to race and pass and maintain your position. So yeah, dude, right there at the end, Fontaine breathing down your neck, best driver in the league. I had reminisce Atlanta, so I was like, I can't let them get me here. But yeah, that dirty air is big in this custom setup right now.
Well, it worked out pretty well for you as you go to victory lane, and now tied again with Sam in the overall win total on the Xfinity B car side, if you will, with 10. As congratulations on that, and send some shout outs.
I want to thank my teammates, Devin, AB, for sticking it out with me. Dean and them had troubles making it tonight. Prayers for them. Thank you, best broadcaster, man, out there in the game. Steady chugging along. Everybody, if you watching, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. And go to his website to get all his merchandise. He got some good merchandise loaded up. Thank the admins and thank the drivers tonight. I figured we was gonna have some cautions. We wasn't gonna get that long green flag run at the beginning just because it's a new setup. But pretty much over and all, they did a good job. Appreciate the fans for tuning in and keeping us going. Appreciate my fans just cheering me on. Appreciate my mom and dad. My mom just texts me. She watch every lap. She cheers me on and give me pointers after the race of what I should and shouldn't do. And yeah, my dad, he gets kind of angry. He hear all the way across the whole house. So appreciate her, man. She the one that gave me the heavy right foot. And thank my girlfriend. Thank God. And that's it, man. I'm grateful, man. I'm grateful.
Mama knows best, as she says, and all the best to them, as obviously the storm goes right up through their area where they are down there. So all the best to them, and great job on the win tonight.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Stephen Miles, the winner here tonight at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, his 10th career win, and becomes the third winner in 3 races here this season on the GLSR side. Once again, before we take off, just want to remind those that you can actually click the race information button down there at the bottom, and you can donate to the Race to Stop Suicide as they sponsored tonight's race. Big thank you to that organization for sponsoring the race here tonight at Charlotte. Of course, Mr. Radiator for sponsoring the series, and a big shout out to the drivers tonight for a great race, the viewers for a great broadcast as always, and hope everybody enjoyed the broadcast and stuff. Not too many people chatted tonight, but that's all good. Felder did a great job finishing 6th. Clark's going to show me his cone that he picked up in the treehouse, and I think I remember when he picked it up, because I do remember at one point, yep, there it is. I'm just looking at the photo. I do remember, believe it or not, him picking it up, because I remember one of the shots I saw the purple car down at the inside of turn 2. Now, when was it is the million-dollar question here, and it had to be during that last pit stop, which would have been right in here. We're going to go see if we can find this real quickly, and should have been right in this area somewhere in my highlights. As soon as I see his name, I will... There it is. That's not him. Where the heck is... There he is. Okay. So Clark's going to leave pit road here, and let's watch this. One thing you do not do on iRacing is you do not hit the cone around the back straightaway here anymore. Don't do it. It's not a good idea. Let's see if it happens right in here somewhere. That does not, but that blue cone there, it wasn't there. So let's go to the next lap, because I saw it happen as they were going on. It was under caution. I didn't want to admit on the broadcast that I saw it, but yeah, I did see it. All right, they're coming to the green here. See, Clark's trying to get it out of his car right here. He's already picked up the cone. Probably cussing up a storm like, what in the world? Yeah, I think he's got the cone there. This is comedy right here. See, he's coming out of pit road here, so it had to have been. Here's Clark's doing the shake right here. Don't go down there and get the cone. That blue cone will ruin your day if you hit it, and it did for Clark, unfortunately. It didn't disappear on the screen, but promise you, if he shows the photo in chat, those watching, you'll see it. All right, we're heading out. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday night. Appreciate everyone for watching. And again, big thank you to all the viewers and everyone for watching. This isn't just a game, it's iRacing. See ya.
This copyrighted broadcast may not be reproduced, reused, or retransmitted in any form without the authorized written consent of Captain eSports Network. Captain would like to thank all of his loyal fans for your continued support, and he hopes you enjoyed today's broadcast.
The following is a special presentation. From the Captain eSports Network.